Welcome to the Snakebite, your home for all things Florida Southern College athletics, where we bring you inside access into the world of moccasin athletics. Here are your hosts, Andrew Pollen and George Connolly.
Good afternoon and welcome to the first Snakebite of the semester. I'm Andrew Polling and here's what the Mocs have been up to. The men's basketball team, who came into the new year ranked 14th in the nation, fell to the number 4 ranked Nova Southeastern Sharks by a final of 111 to 103 in a highly physical overtime matchup. Jayln Hinton and Brandon Carroll each had 20 points for the Mocs, who saw their 9-game win streak snapped by the Sharks. Here's what Hinton had to say following the game.
Jayln, a really hard-fought physical loss here tonight. Could you kind of describe how this game went?
Like you said, it was a very physical game. I mean, we clawed, we fought back, we tried to get back into it. We sent it back into overtime, but unfortunately we wasn't able to do what we needed to do. That's okay though. That's only a halfway point of the season.
As it is only the halfway point of the season, what are some positives that you've seen over the first half that you're looking to have the team continue over the second half?
Just our grit, our fight. I like the way that we just brought it into OT, like I said, and I just like the way that we fought throughout the game. It was a hard fought out game, but we're gonna see them boys again.
You take on Rollins on Wednesday in another conference matchup. That one's on the road. What's your game plan expectation for that matchup?
Play just as hard as we did tonight, and I think we're gonna get it done.
Thank you for the time. Tough loss here tonight. Good luck on Wednesday.
The team will be back in action later tonight in a 7:30 game at Rollins.
On the women's side, the Mocs also went into overtime against Nova, picking up a 76-69 victory, moving to 5-1 in Sunshine State Conference play. Julia Jenneke led the Mocs with a career-high 32 points, marking the first 30-point game for the team since Camille Giardina's 30-point effort against Tampa last March. Jenneke earned SSC Player of the Week honors after averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists over the Mocs' pair of wins. The team tips off against Rollins tonight at 5:30. Now, Andrew, you were at this game. How impressive was Julia?
Well, she took over the game. She really did. She took it over in the fourth quarter and overtime, had a pair of big three-pointers in the overtime period. 32 points is a very high number. That's very impressive. She scored 20 or more points in 4 out of the last 6 games that she's played in. She has really now developed into that potential all-conference, all-region player that the Mocs thought that she would be earlier in the season.
Absolutely, and you saw both teams play over winter break. Can you talk a little bit about their progression over those couple weeks?
Well, on the men's side, the Mocs have been slowly but surely climbing up the rankings over the last few weeks. They broke into the top 25 at number 25, and they have continued to progress upward to that number 14 slot. They took the number 4 team in the nation into an overtime period. That's about as close as you can get to it. They lost by just a few points there, couldn't get it done in overtime. And then in the women's side, they beat the number 25 team in the nation over winter break, and then they just lost to the number 1 team, Drury, right before Christmas by a single-digit score. I believe they lost that game by 6. So they know now that they can hang with some of these top teams in the country.
Sure, and now let's look at the future. Both teams have a pair of important road matchups this week, so what are your expectations for those games?
Well, when you're hanging with these top 25 teams, as we've seen both the men's and women's team do for Florida Southern, that has to boost your confidence, especially in conference play. Nothing against the conference competition, but these teams are not top 25 ranked teams, which means that you're going in highly confident and you're expecting to win. Basketball is a huge confidence sport, especially on the shooting side of things. So if we can kind of see that the Mocs go in extremely confident to all these matchups, not to underestimate their opponents or anything, but they have a good chance to win a large majority of these upcoming conference games.
Absolutely. Good points, Andrew. And now taking a step back to last semester, our own Jillian Kurtz caught up with Associate Athletic Director Jill Stevens earlier this week to get her thoughts on the fall semester. Here's what she had to say.
Thanks, guys. So what are your thoughts on the fall semester for Mocs athletics?
Yeah, I think it was a great fall season for our athletes. Both our cross-country teams made it to the conference tournament, had great showings there, and then Mason Jones went out to the national championships and had a great showing. Really proud of our men's soccer team, who ended up making the first round of the conference championship. Had a lot of injuries this fall. It was kind of an odd year, but volleyball kind of had a rebuilding year. Women's soccer had a rebuilding year. A lot of injuries, but they finished with a big win over Tampa, I think 5-0 in the last game. So a lot to build on, a lot of excitement for the future.
And the Mocs had an overall GPA of 3.31. How does that just stand out for the Mocs going into the spring semester too?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Our student athletes work so hard. The schedule that they take on with both athletics and academics, the professors are amazing here. They work really well with us, and our student athletes just bust their tail to be great in everything they do. And I think that's just that's kind of our motto here is championship success, going after it and being great in everything we do.
And so we have a really packed spring semester here at Florida Southern for sports. So what are you looking forward to in those next 4 months?
Yeah, it's a busy, busy spring. Obviously, our basketballs will be finishing up. Hopefully, we're going into postseason, vying for a national championship in both men and women's. And swimming, the same thing, going to the conference championship and then nationals. But then our spring sports are packed. We've got our men's and women's lacrosse, who we expect great things from. Our men's lacrosse team is older, more mature, so we're excited about that. Our women's lacrosse team has always been, top notch and vying for trying to get back to that national championship game and win another one. And both our softball and baseball. Softball has a new coaching staff with a new assistant, so there's some new blood, and then also a lot of great new players coming in. So that should be really exciting. And then baseball is always. They're always vying to get back into hosting a regional, maybe doing some tarp pulls with hopefully not so much rain. But in all of our sports with tennises and golfs, I'm missing somebody, beach volleyball. So it's gonna be a really exciting spring. It's busy, but it's a lot of fun, and we're super excited to watch our athletes succeed.
Well, thank you so much, Jill, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Jillian. The Mocs had 122 student athletes with a 4.0 GPA this fall, which accounts for 25% of all student athletes.
In women's swim news, the Mocs will head to the pool for a pair of weekend matches as they prepare for their first home meet in over 2 months. The girls take on Emory on Friday at 4 p.m. and Nova Southeastern on Saturday at 11 a.m. The hockey team returns to the ice this weekend as they will take on Flagler this Saturday with the puck drop scheduled for 9 p.m. These events will serve as the first home matches for the Mocs this spring semester. That's all for us this week on the Snakebite. I'm Andrew Pauling.
And I'm George Connolly. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at 3.